morning, everyone. So thank you for joining us today for this special webinar hosted by Net24 in collaboration with ICN Business School. My name is Jones. I'm your host for this session, and with the campus in Paris, in Nancy, in Berlin, ICN offers really international learning experience across France and Germany. So I would like to welcome our amazing guests from ICN, Ms. Catherine and Ms. Akata, my two beautiful ladies, and we will explore opportunities for studying in France and Germany. So we will mention about the paperwork, accommodation, how you can work directly with ICN Business School. So let's get started and learn how to help your students take the steps towards studying abroad.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. It's very kind of you. So as you said, today I will present you ICN, ICN DNA, also the programs that we're offering and how the admission process works. So let's get started. So I will first start with the good reasons to join ICN. So you have to know that today ICN it's 3,300 students. We have also 23,000 graduated students. We have 130 partner universities in order to help our students to increase their employability as an international way to discover some exchanges and even some international double degrees. We have also 150 business partners to develop their employability. There are currently 3 campuses, one in Paris, one in Nancy, and the last one in Berlin. And we have 23 students associations. We have very good rankings. Obviously, the most important thing that you should remember is that we have the triple accreditation. So this guarantees a very high level of education. We are in the 1% of school establishment on a worldwide scale to own this triple accreditation. Among the different rankings that we have, in 2023, we have been ranked as the 36th best master in management on a global scale. Now I will briefly evoke the good reasons to study in France. So France is a very attractive destination. It's the second non-English speaking country to host international students. By coming in France, students will have a high access to culture, cheap public transport, good healthcare, housing aid, and stay-back visa. You have to know that when you are living in France as a student, you have a lot of advantages. Usually, if you go also to the cinema or to sport or things like that, you always have half prices that are offered. And there are also a lot of aids given by the government, called, for example, the APL, to help the students to pay their housing and accommodation. So now we briefly present you the 3 campuses that we have. You have also to know that there is a brand new opening that is planned in Gift City for the coming months. As soon as we will have further information about it, we will obviously let you know. The first one and the oldest one is the one in Nancy, and it's also the biggest one. It's 93,000 square meters. Nancy is recognized as the 6th best student city in France. The living cost is very interesting because with around 600 euros per month, you can afford the flat and the living expenses. So here you have some pictures of how the campus looks like. And since you may already know Paris and Berlin, I always like to give some pictures of what kind of events you can discover in Nancy, because it's also for this that the international students are coming to just discover the culture. So here you have some pictures of the most popular events we have. So there is the famous Saint Nicholas Parade, the event of the Festival of Lights and Sound. But yeah, during the whole year, there are different events that the student can discover. The second campus that we have is in Paris at La Défense, the business district in France. Since it's a capital town, the cost of living is obviously higher. We have counted that it's around 1,000 euros per month in order to afford the flat and the living expenses. And here are some pictures of the campus. It's a 8-floor building. It's around 8,000 square meters, so it's also a big one. We are settled just next to the Grande Arche. So the students, by coming here, are surrounded by all the most important companies of the country, but also of Europe. And the last campus is the one in Berlin. So what is great is that Germany is the first non-English speaking country to host international students. Again, it's a capital town, so we have calculated that the cost of living is around 1,000 euros per month to afford the flats and the living expenses. We have a brand new campus from this September. This time it's settled in the Moabit Straße. So it's an area which is very famous for all the parks. It's a very green area. There's also water just next to the campus. So it's more calm, but still in the center of Berlin. So now we'll speak about the ATM DNA. So you have to know that ATM stands for Art, Technology, and Management. So we are learning our students to become more adaptable and flexible and to be able to work with other professions and skill sets. So how are we doing this? You have to know that in Nancy, our campus is so big that we are also sharing some rooms with students who are coming from the art and design school and from the engineering school. And during the year, we will propose to our students to build some different projects with those other students in order to increase their employability. So the Bachelor in Management is the first program I would like to introduce you. You have to know that it's a 3-year program. On the first year, the students acquire all the basics about the management. On the second year, they are consolidating their knowledge. And on the third year, they will have the choice between different paths. The maximum age limit is 25 years old. This program is proposed either fully in English on the Paris campus for the 2 first years, or fully in French. It can be in Paris or in Nancy. And on the last year, it will depend on the specialization chosen by the student. So the third year, here you have the list of the possibilities that we are proposing to the students. You have to know that the first one, they can increase their employability by choosing to do an apprenticeship. But at the end of this presentation, I will give you the conditions to do an apprenticeship because it's not open to everyone. You have to, there are some rules that you have to know about it before proposing it to the students. The second option that we are proposing is the classical English track or French track according to the language chosen by the students. So they have 6 specializations, they have to choose one of them. And according to the chosen specialization, they can be either in Paris or in Nancy. The third option is to go for an international exchange. So this time there are around 90 universities with whom the student can go for an exchange. And the last option is to choose an international double degree. So again, it's an exchange, but this time the student at the end of the bachelor will get the degree from ICN and also the degree from the university he has chosen. So here I have a list on the left side of the universities with whom it's possible to do an international double degree. On the right side, I have listed just a very brief list of the universities with whom it's possible to do an international exchange. You can see that they are very prestigious. And since they are very prestigious, we have a kind of partnership where they can open the doors for 5 of our best students without asking them to pay extra tuition fees. If some others would like to still join them, it's possible, but they will have to pay part of the tuition fees of those universities. We have also, for the first time this year, we are proposing a January intake for this program. But be careful because the conditions for the January intake are quite different from the September intake. So in order to join this January intake, the student needs to be 21 years old, great maximum. we are asking them ideally to have at least 70% of success in overall in their previous studies, or 60%, but with at least 70% of success in math, English, and business-related subjects. Why? Because this January intake program is a more intensive program. It's a kind of accelerate program. This means that students will arrive in January and they will have only 2 weeks to catch up everything that the others have learned during the first semester. So they need to be ready and very motivated. And then in February, they will start the second semester and finish it in June with the others who had already started in September. For this program, there is no late arrival date. So be careful if you would like to propose it to one of your students. He needs to be able to start the courses on January the 5th. The application deadline is very short also. It already started from August 18. You can apply, send the application on Zoho, and it will be closed by the end of September. We are proposing 2 kinds of scholarships. So there's the ICN Ambition Scholarship. It's for students who have applied very soon. They can get 10% discount on their first year of studies. They have to have sent their application before August 31st, and the initial deposit needs to be paid for September the 10th, great maximum. There is a second scholarship, which is the ICN Global Talent Scholarship. This one can go up to 20%. It's a kind of scholarship that is proposed only for students who have a very good academic profile. So they can apply for this scholarship from September the 1st, and it will end by the end of September. They need to have at least 80% of success in their previous studies. Just be careful because scholarships are not cumulative. So we will always select the best one according to which the student has applied for. The payment deadline, so for this program, the initial deposit needs to be paid for October 15th, great maximum. The initial deposit is still the same, 4,000 euros, sorry. And the total tuition fee is 9,000 euros. We have a second bachelor program. So this one is only for the September intake. It's the IBBA, a brand new one that we are proposing. And this one, the program fully in English, it is proposed in Berlin. So the big difference with the first bachelor program I just presented is that this time it's a 4-year program. Again, the first year, the students are acquiring all the basics about the management. On the second year, they are consolidating this knowledge, and this time they are also preparing themselves to go abroad, because on the third year, this time it's mandatory to do an international exchange. They can choose to do either 6 months and 6 months in 2 universities, or 1 full year in 1 university, and if they choose this option, they will get automatically an international double degree. The last year is dedicated to increase the employability. They have to choose a specialization, and they can choose to do an apprenticeship or an internship. You have to know that for all our programs, there are always an internship period or apprenticeship according to the possibilities of the program, because we really want students to be ready at the end of the study to be able to get a work. Now I will present you our master programs. There are 2. The first one is the Master in Management. So it's a 2-year mandatory program. The age limit is 28 years old. So here you have the list of the specialization that we are proposing for this program. So you can see on my table on the left side is dedicated for the first year, first semester. So when a student will be applying, he will need to explain which specialization he wants from the left side. The orange part is dedicated to finance, the green one for the marketing, and the yellow for the management of organization. So be careful, because as you can see, according to the specialization, some are proposed either fully in French, either fully in English, and it depends also on the campus. When the student will start the first year, first semester, we will also ask him what kind of specialization he would like to pursue, because it will be a more precise one from the second semester. And he always needs to stay in the either finance or marketing or management of organization field. So for an example, if a student is choosing the audit and compliance specialization, he could then go with the finance, risk and markets. However, he couldn't choose a marketing specialization. This is something important to know. The second important thing to know with this program is that there are different rhythms. There is the classical rhythm or the alternate rhythm. And according to the language and on the campus, the rhythms are changing. So for example, in Paris, if a student is choosing the English language, he will have the choice between the classic or the alternate rhythm. It's up to him. However, if he chooses Paris in French, the only rhythm that is proposed is in alternate. So just be careful with this kind of information. With the master in management, it's also possible to do some international exchanges, international double degrees, also some double degrees inside ICN by doing a master in management and an MSc. And I will present you right now what is the MSc. So the great difference with the master in management is that with the MSc, it's possible this time to do it in 1 or 2 years according to the numbers of studies already done by the student before. So this program can be done in only 1 year, either if the student has already completed a first year of master degree in a previous university, or if he has a bachelor degree with at least 3 years of studies, at least 3 years of work experience in the field he would like to study. So be careful. There are also some countries, so this will be referred for Latin America. But for an example, in Latin America, the bachelors last for 4 years. So in this case, it's possible for them with a 4-year bachelor degree to get direct entry in the second year of MSc. But if you have any doubt, it's always good to contact us because the equivalents between the countries are not always the same. So it's always good to have a double check. The maximum age limit for this program is 35 years old. So again, you have here the list of specialization. This program is proposed either fully in English or in bilingual rhythm. So on the left side, you have all the specialization proposed fully in English. And on the right side, the bilingual specialization. So this means that the core courses are in English and the specialization are in French. Again, the rhythms are not the same according to the campuses. So if a student is choosing a specialization in Nancy, the only rhythm that is possible is the alternate one. Whereas in Paris, it will be in classic or alternate rhythm. In Berlin, there is only the alternate rhythm, but be careful, it's not the same as in Paris and Nancy, and I will explain it right now. Just for your information also, because today I have only focused on the bachelor and master programs. However, we have also some PhD, TBA, we have also some summer programs. For the moment, we are currently updating all the information about those other programs. But as soon as it will be updated, I will share this with you and you will be also able to promote them. So now let's talk about the difference between the classical and the alternate rhythm. So the classical rhythm, it's easy. It's when the students have during the whole academic year courses. Whereas the alternate rhythm, it means that students will have for Paris and Nancy 1 week of class and 3 weeks of free time. And this free time is usually used to do an apprenticeship. In Berlin, it's always the alternate rhythm. It's 3 days per week in class, and there are 2 days off. However, it's not possible to do an apprenticeship in Berlin because the apprenticeship is a typical French contract. You have to work with a French company. So usually in Berlin, students prefer to become Werkstudent. So they are doing some student job and it is very popular there. So in order to do an apprenticeship, Students who are coming from the European Union, they can start it directly from the bachelor program, whereas those who are coming out the European Union, it's possible from the master. There are different conditions. The student needs to be under 29 years old, and the most important one also is that they need to be able to have a B2 level in French, because they will be working with French customers and with a French company. So they need to be able to speak in French. So that's also why usually when we are proposing, when a student is saying that he would be interested by the apprenticeship, and if he doesn't speak French, we say, okay, let's start your first year in classical rhythm. You can get some courses in French. It's proposed also at our university. And so on the second year, when you will be ready and have the requested level in French, you will be able to choose the apprenticeship. The other condition is also to have found a company before July for the next September intake. And finally, the administrative part will be heavier, since the student will have to ask for work permit to the prefecture. We have an apprenticeship service who is helping students to find a company. So be careful with that. You have to understand that this service gives the tools to the student to be able to find a company. By explaining them how to write a CV in French, a cover letter in French, how an interview with a French company goes, how they should stand. So they have also some courses with a coach if they want. But we are not guaranteeing any contract. The student needs also to look for a company by himself. We are not giving directly, here, it's a contract ready for you. No, they have to be able to look for it. And the competitivity on the market is obviously very high, because with the apprenticeship, the company is paying for the tuition fees, and the company is also paying the student with a salary for the works that he's doing. So obviously, students need to be ready to send several CVs and cover letters before being able to get an interview and accepted by a company. So now I would like to show you some key figures about the employability at ICN. You have to know that after having done a bachelor degree at ICN, it's 80% of our students who have found within 4 months after they have graduated a permanent job. The average wage is 39,000 euros, and it's over 40% of our students who are working abroad. You have also the different fields in which they are working. After a master degree, obviously, those figures are getting even better. This time, it's over 45,000 euros per year that the students are earning. And it's over 90% of our students who have found a work within 4 months after they have graduated. So now I am at the end of the presentation, and this is kind of the most important part about how to join ICN and how the admission process works. So it's a 4-step process. The first one, the student needs to, you have to send for the student the application on Zoho, since you are agents. And there are different documents that are requested. We're asking for a CV, either in French or in English, according to their language chosen by the student. Same thing for the cover letter. We are also asking for the transcript of the school records from the last year. So as I said before, it's at least 60% of success that is requested in overall, and at least 70% of success in math, English, and business-related subjects. We are also asking for a copy of the last obtained degree and for an English test for all the programs, except for the Bachelor in Management first year for the French language. For all the others, even if they have chosen a French specialization, they need to submit an English test, because our school is aiming an international career for our students, so we want to be sure that they're able to express themselves in English. You have on the below on this presentation the different levels that are requested according to the program that has been chosen by the student. So this English test is requested for all programs except Bachelor First Year French program. Unless the native language of the student is English. For an example, if we receive an application from a student coming from the United States, we won't be asking for an English test because we know that the student is already, its mother tongue, so we will not be asking for an English test. We can also accept a certificate that proves that the student has conducted his previous studies in English. For an example, a French student or a Polish student who has studied in the US, if he has a certificate that he has studied in the US, we know that he will be able to speak in English, so we won't be asking for an English test. For all the other cases, an English test is required. It's the same thing for the French specialization. We'll be asking for a French test unless the student is coming from a French recognized spoken country. We will be also finally asking for the ID documents and for any relevant document. It's not mandatory, but for an example, if a student has an internship certificate or recommendation letter, he can always add it to his application file. So as I said before, there is only one intake. It's always in September, except for the Bachelor in Management first year entry. This year, there is also the January intake. So once all those documents sent on Zoho, our team will receive it on the ICN platform, and we will be checking if there is nothing that is missing. And if it's the case, we'll contact you back, don't worry. And then the student will receive a link to start a short video interview. So this is the second step. The student will receive like 5-7 questions, and he will need to record himself answering to the questions. So there isn't somebody in front of the camera asking for questions, but he needs to imagine that he's in front of the director and that he needs to sell himself as for a job interview. Once the interview has been done, the directors have between 8 to 10 business days to give their decision. But don't worry, usually the delay is shorter. Within 2 days, usually directors have given their decision. If the student is accepted, he will get a pre-admission email, and we are inviting him to confirm his registration at the school by paying the initial deposit of 4,000 euros. And once he has paid this initial deposit, he will receive the official admission letter. He will be able to start the visa process if he is out from the European Union, and he will be also ready to start to look for a flat, because you have to know that we do not have our own accommodation at ICN, but we have a housing service who is helping students to find a flat according to their expectations and also to their financial situation. So this is just to show you what we are expecting for with the CVs. You have 2 examples. We want students to describe on the CV the academic background. So if they have any professional experience, they have to add it. And finally, we would like also to see the language skills and the IT skills if they have some. For the cover letter, you have to know that we would like the student to explain what kind of studies they have done before and why they would like to join ICN, how ICN could help them to develop their future project. Both for CV and cover letters, 1 page is enough, 2 pages great maximum, but you shouldn't write 30 pages, please. So this is my last slide, the tuition fees. You have to know that this is the tuition fees for the current year, September 2025 intake. So usually we are updating them in October, November. So you may have maybe some changes about it, but usually more or less they are the same prices. So you have the list of the different tuition fees per program. Be careful because there is the MEX program that is described, but this one, it has been ended. This year is the last year that it has been proposed, so don't consider it for the promotion of ICN. There are some programs where it's possible, as I said, to do a direct entry. For example, the MSc, it's possible to do a direct entry in M2, but the cost of the tuition fees won't be the same. So just be careful on that. Also, for the Bachelor in Management program, it's possible to do a direct entry in second year or in third year if the student has already completed the first or second year in a previous university. As I said before, we have two kinds of scholarships, so they are the same as I listed before. The ICN Ambition Scholarship, which will be a 10% discount on the first year of study. Usually for the September intake, the initial deposit needs to be paid in February in order to get this 10% discount. And the second one is the ICN Global Talent, which goes up to 20% discount. So for this one, I am still waiting for the dates because for the moment, the application platform for the September intake hasn't been open yet. Usually it opens by the end of November for the next September intake. And usually it closes by the end of June. Okay, I think that you had most of information you could need. So now it's the question part if you have any. And thank you for your attention. It's very kind of you.